Sunday Roundtable is here to wrap up September, and with us this morning, as you can see, are Democratic political analyst Marianne Marsh, who did not get the blue memo, and Republican political analyst Rob Gray, who did get the blue memo.
Yeah, I got the blue memo.
There, you stand out, Marianne. We always knew that.
Every once in a while.
Let's start with Lucy Louis-Jones, who sat in the chair this morning. Like Mayor Wu, she's trying to thread that needle on a lot of issues. If I asked you how she's doing, you would say?
Very impressive. I was at the Boston Chamber of Commerce speech last week with Mayor Wu. Ruth Z was there. Mayor Wu acknowledged her. She got easily one of the biggest rounds of applause in a very packed, very impressive room of folks who attended that. And it's ironic because Ed Flynn launched her, right? They couldn't get the redistricting done. He appointed her to do it. She passed it 10-2. Then she goes on to top the ticket in her second term and locked up, excuse me, all the votes to be council president before New Year's Day. So she's got a great trajectory. She's very promising, and she is definitely someone to watch.
Rob, what do you think?
I thought she was impressive as well. She's clearly very aligned with the mayor, right? So you're not going to get a lot of difference between the city council leadership and the mayor, which is an interesting political dynamic. I think she's making a mistake not differentiating herself from the mayor on the school bus botch launch issue. It's tough to defend that. Kids are not getting to school.
Right.
All right. The death of a state police trainee having a major impact on Beacon Hill. Attorney General Andrea Campbell appointing David Meyer, a veteran prosecutor, to investigate and asking the public for patience. Governor Healey supporting that appointment, but not saying if the feds should get involved. Now, Campbell and Healey, they both have strong ties to the state police. Are they handling this the right way, Rob?
Well, I think it's a good move to appoint David Meyer. He's well respected. What it does politically, we see this happen all the time, though, too. The storm is present. You appoint somebody to look into it. Over time, while the investigation is done, it passes. So chances are there won't be a lot of accountability coming out of this investigation. I don't think. The accountability will hopefully come from the new colonel coming in from out of state and new leadership at the state police.
What do you think, Marianne? Are they handling this the right way?
It's being done exactly the way it should be done and the way both of them said it would be done. To your point, Andrea picks an independent counsel. Meyer, by all accounts, very able, capable, and trusted by all. Maura Healey supports the appointment. She said there's no decision on whether the federal law enforcement should get involved yet until this investigation's over. She's already told the new colonel that he needs to be on top of this, and she already ended the boxing program. So all the right things are being done in the right order in due time.
But to your point about the storm, if and when the video does surface, become public, then that might alter the complete dynamic of this investigation.
Sure, and there'll be pressure, I think, even in the shorter term for the new colonel coming in to do something even prior to this investigation being
Even
concluded.
with the video, it doesn't mean that the feds need to get involved.
Yeah, but that video alters the optical
But
landscape.
that should land
Yeah.
the state investigation.
The big week coming up in the race for the White House. It's the vice presidential debate on Tuesday, but let's start with the top of the ticket. The race is still neck and neck in the swing states. Harris is laying out her economic plan. She's trying to gain ground with voters on an issue where Trump, at least on the polls, has held a clear advantage. Marianne, is she playing into Trump's hands, or is this a necessary play?
No, it's a brilliant strategy by the Harris campaign because she owns the abortion issue. Trump will never catch her in that. In the 67 days she's been in this race, she's been able to cut his lead on the economy from 21 to 16 to 5 points. And now she's about to do the same thing on immigration with her visit to the border on Friday, reminding everybody he killed the legislation and all that. So she's going to take the three biggest issues in this race away from him, and he won't realize it till he's standing on quicksand.
Rob?
Well, maybe. Here's why she's doing it. The president is out there launching a Bidenomics victory tour. Couldn't be worse timing for Kamala Harris. And really, Bidenomics is Kamalanomics. She doesn't want to admit that. It's Trump's job to remind people. I think the ads in swing states that he's running are doing that using her own words, even if Trump isn't doing it himself.
But the fact is, she's tied or even at worst in every good poll that's out there. And it's clearly working. Advantage Harris.
All right, let's talk about the upcoming VP debate. Tuesday's debate will get even more attention because this could be it as far as debates go. What do you think will happen, Marianne?
Well, no one votes for president based on vice president, but it probably is the last debate. And Walz is going to go after J.D. Vance, just like Kamala Harris went after Trump, and just like Trump, J.D. Vance will take the bait again. So there will be reminders about the economic issues. There will be reminders about all their failures. There'll be reminders about the domestic issues, and reminders, frankly, about the racist propaganda they've put out there. So I'm sure cats and dogs will be raised too.
Oh my goodness. Any do no harm moments, you think?
I wouldn't want to be the moderator.
What do you think, Rob?
I think some voters make a judgment on presidential candidates based on their judgment in picking their VP candidate. So it matters somewhat on the margins. I think if Vance attacks Harris, that's bad for Trump. I mean, Vance is deeply unpopular, more unpopular than Trump. He should spend his time attacking Walz.
Great point.
We're going to talk about the mayor of New York City when we come back. Stay with us.